We have another book to read today, and you guessed it, it is our friend RJ. And RJ likes to do things his way. He does not want to do things the way that is suggested to him by different adults. So he is going to be asking to do things his way. The problem is the way that RJ wants to do things is pretty difficult. And it leads to him needing to redo a lot of work, which makes him feel pretty frustrated because that's a frustrating experience. So today we are going to travel with RJ and we are going to see if we can figure out how to do things the right way. Okay, so this is not that one. Oh, did I not change the picture? Oh, I didn't. I just want to do it my way. Join RJ as he learns how doing things the right way first means he no longer has to do his work over and over. This is the first question that you'll be discussing. So as you listen to the read aloud today, think about this question. What mistake do you see RJ making? What advice would you give to him? So as we read, I want you thinking about what advice you would give to RJ, okay? All right, let me switch my cameras here so we can see our text. Bring it on up, bring it on up. There we go, beautiful. Okay, this is called I Just Want to Do It My Way by Julia Cook. My name is RJ, and I have my own way of doing things. I sleep with my pajamas on inside out every Friday night. I put on both my shoes first, and then I tie them. I eat ice cream cones from the bottom up, even though it's messy. And I always save my math homework for last because I don't like doing math at all. Last week, my teacher called my mom and told her I have a hard time staying on task, especially during math time. She also told her that I have 7 math papers that I haven't handed in. Dun, dun, dun. RJ, where are your math assignments? My mom asked me. Oh, they're in my desk at school, I said. Why didn't you hand them in? Well, I sorta didn't quite get them all the way finished. I don't like to do math. It's really hard on me. When my answer is 6, the right answer is 3. I'd much rather do anything other than math. I'd rather eat parsnips or even take a bath. Besides, it's hard for me to concentrate on my math when Norma the booger picker is sitting right next to me. I never know when she'll decide to pick and flick, and sometimes she even eats them. RJ, just because you don't like doing math won't make it go away. Math is very important in life, and you need to learn how to do it the right way. Do you ever ask your teacher for help? No, it's just easier to do it my way. Besides, I don't want her to know that I don't get it. Well, RJ, I think she already knows. Last week in math, I asked Sam to help me, but he got a 10 when the answer was 3. Then my teacher got mad because we talked during math, so she moved Sam away to the back of the class. RJ, you need to ask your teacher for help when you don't understand something. I tried asking once, but we were taking a test, so she said, RJ, sit down and just try your best. Another time I asked her when I didn't have a clue, and she said, you're interrupting, RJ. Please wait till I'm through. When my teacher finished talking, math time was over, so I never got the chance to ask her or show her. Could you have stayed in from recess to ask her how to do it? I can't miss recess to do math. You can't or you won't, my mom asked. Both! The next morning, my mom took me to school early so we could look for my missing assignments in my desk. It took us a little while, but we found them. along with a few other papers that were kind of, sort of, not quite all the way finished. RJ, this is ridiculous, my mom said. You should always ask your teacher for help when you don't understand something. You just need to figure out how and when to ask. All right, we're going to pause right there for our first question. Our first question is, what mistake do you see RJ making, and what advice would you give him? So what mistake do you see RJ making, and what advice would you give him? You will say, I see RJ, and put the mistake here. I would advise him to, and then share your advice, okay? You're getting ready to go into breakout rooms. Please remember that when you go into breakout rooms, you need to unmute your mic. You do not stay on mute, just like when you turn and talk with a group in class, you don't sit like this. Right? You've got to open your mouth to have that conversation. So unmute yourself and take turns sharing your responses. Okay? Any questions before I send you into your breakout rooms? Okay, awesome. Here come your invites. I will put that question in the chat for you.
Being recorded.
He didn't want to do his math, so he just left it in his desk.
And what advice would you give him?
To do your work so you won't get in trouble.
Okay, so you would encourage him to do that work, and definitely throwing that in your desk is not going to work. Let's see, what mistake did you see him making, Justin? What mistake did RJ make?
Every time there was a math quiz, he wouldn't take his math quiz up to the teacher to put it in the bin.
Okay, and what advice would you give him?
I would have told him to he has to do better on his math quiz, and every time to take it to the teacher.
Okay, so you would advise him to get help when he needs it, it sounds like, and to be trying harder. Awesome, thank you for sharing, Justin. What are your thoughts, Camille? What advice would you give RJ for the mistakes that he's making?
I tell him to do this work or he'll get in trouble.
Okay, and what mistake did you see RJ making?
He did everything his way.
Yeah, and that wasn't working very well because it wasn't getting the things done that he needed to get done. So sometimes our way can feel easier, but it's more difficult in the long run. All right, awesome. Let's go ahead and continue on. The next question that you will be discussing is is right here. There we go. Think of a time it was hard for you to stay focused and finish a task. You're going to explain that situation to your group. So we see RJ having some difficulty staying focused. I want you to think of a time that it was difficult for you to stay focused, okay? All right, think about that as we're listening to what happens with RJ. When you need to ask for help, this is what you should do. Look right at the person whose attention you seek. Ooh, that sounds like being assertive. Ask, is now a good time for you to help me? Definitely being assertive. Then clearly explain what it is that you need. Ooh, we are being assertive. And remember to say, thanks for helping me. Yep, that is being assertive. Awesome. As soon as I got home from school, my mom looked at me and said, RJ, life as you know it is going to change. And it did. My mom gave me 20 minutes to eat my snack and have free time. Usually I get at least an hour. Then she sat with me at the kitchen table and together we worked on my halfway done assignments until they were all the way done. I had to sit there for like 46 years. I think that's an exaggeration. Before I went to bed that night, my dad came into my room to talk to me. RJ, Mom said you had to sit at the kitchen table for 46 years tonight getting your missing assignments done. You need to do a much better job of staying on task so you can finish your work and turn it in on time. That's exactly what my teacher says. Well, RJ, when you start your assignments, you need to try harder to stay on task so you will get farther. If you keep on working until you are through, you'll just be amazed at what you're able to do. But I don't like to do it that way, I said. I like to do it my way, so I don't have to do the same thing over and over and over again for a long, long, long time. Well, son, your way isn't working out very well. Besides, if you stay on task, the over and over part doesn't take that long. Yeah, Dad, but it's hard to think about math when I know, RJ. Mom told me. And sometimes during math, Rodney tries to burp the alphabet, and then everyone laughs, and then, RJ, when I mow the lawn, I get all of it done. I don't stop in the middle, even though it's not fun. I work very hard to finish my task, because if I quit too soon, we'll have crooked grass. Your way works okay for a kid who is little, but you're too big now, RJ, to stop in the middle. Even if Norma is picking her nose or Rodney is trying to burp the alphabet. The next day, I went to school and handed in all of my missing assignments, about 46 years worth. My teacher was so proud of me that she did the happy dance. RJ, she said, I bet it feels great to be all caught up. All right, we are going to pause there for our next discussion point. You are getting ready to share the answer to that question I shared with you a moment ago. Think of a time it was hard for you to stay focused and finish a task. Explain the situation to your group. This does not have to be a school-related task. So for me, one time, I was supposed to finish washing all of my son's bottles. It was hard to stay focused because my husband and I were watching a television show. So I knew that I needed to get those clean so I would have them the next day, but I really wanted to watch that television show. So I had my husband pause the television show so I could get the task done. So it doesn't have to be school related. It might be something that you needed to do at home or another place, okay? So you're going to share with your group a time that it was hard for you to stay focused, okay? All right, I'm sending you your invites now. So when was it hard for you to stay focused on a task? Anton, let's have you go ahead and share, bud. When was it hard for you to stay focused on a task?
When my brother was bothering me.
That definitely makes it difficult. What did you do to help yourself focus?
Ignore it.
Okay, so I like it. You used two strategies. You ignored a behavior and you moved away. Awesome. With our Tim strategy at Indian Creek, you used two of them. Great. Thank you for sharing. When is a time that it was hard for you to stay focused? So I shared about when I needed to wash bottles and I really did not want to. And I had my husband pause the television show. That's how I was able to stay focused. What about you, John? When was a time it was hard to stay focused?
Never.
Never? You've never had a hard time staying focused?
No.
I don't know if I think that's true. Has your mom ever told you to clean your room?
Yeah.
And you just did it every single time? You're like, yeah, yay, I love doing this.
No.
Okay, so cleaning your room was hard one time. How did you stay focused and get it done?
Kept cleaning it.
Okay, you just kept doing it. So you kept telling yourself, just keep doing this, just keep going, and then it'll be done, right? Good, so that's a strategy too, is we can just tell ourselves, the harder I work, the more it's gonna get done, the faster we're gonna be done. Awesome, thank you. Alrighty, I have one last question, and we're just going to share this question out loud when we're done reading. So I'm going to share that with you, and I'd like for you to be thinking about this question as we keep reading. There we go. What is one strategy you will use to stay focused on your assignments? Ooh, this is specific. When you are not on Zoom. What is one strategy you will use to stay focused on your assignments when you are not on Zoom? So when your teacher is not talking to you on a video, when she's not saying, stay online to finish this, when you're on your own, how will you stay focused? So instead of going on ABCYA, and instead of going on Santa Tracker, instead of going on Tinker, instead of going on Code, what will you do to stay focused? Okay? So think about that as we finish up this text. What's one strategy you will use? Here we go. I think from now on, when it's time for you to work on your math, I'll let you go to the back of the room and sit in the verb villa. You'll have a little bit more space to wiggle while you are working, and the other kids won't distract you as much. So today during math, I tried doing things a different way. I listened as closely as I could when my teacher explained our assignment. I understood just about all of it, except for one little part. So I went up to her after, waited for the perfect time, and then asked her to help me. I remembered to tell her thank you, just like my mom said. Then I went to the back of the room and did my math in the verb villa. I got it all the way done, and I even understood it. And the best part of all is I didn't have to worry about Norma's picking or Rodney's burping. Ooh, so Anton, it looks like he used your strategy and moved away. Look at that. I looked at my teacher and thought, wow, could it be? Now this is a teacher who really gets me. She's willing to help me each time that I ask, and she'll go out of her way to help me on task. A new way of doing things is just what I need, and with the verb villa's help, I'm sure to succeed. It feels great to be caught up and not behind. Now my over and over won't take so much time, and hopefully I won't have to spend another 46-year night at the kitchen table. The end. All right, so what is a strategy that you will use to stay focused when you are not on Zoom? So when your teacher, which is me, tells you, you need to be on Prodigy or Zern when we're done. What is one way you will stay focused to be able to do that? I am coming back to you. I'm curious to hear some strategies. How will you stay focused? Aiden G, how will you stay focused when you are not on Zoom?
By doing what the teacher says.
It's just that simple? Just do it? Love it. Keeping it simple. Just get it done, right? She's very clear. Miss Sousa says exactly what needs to happen. I'm just going to do it. I love that. Terrence, what about you? What strategy will you use to stay focused?
That's not what I was asking about, but my strategy is to use just talk to them and ask them to stop, or ignore them, or just move away.
So the question is when you're not on Zoom. So like when you're at your house and you have to do an assignment, but you really want to play games instead, how will you stay focused?
Move away from my game.
Oh, okay. So if there's something in your environment that's distracting you, like maybe an Xbox or a TV, a lot of y'all watch TV during class and don't think I can't tell. Nobody just stares at the wall like this. You move away from it, right? So you get out of the way of the distractions. Awesome. Another idea, Sophia.
Move away from everything and just be focused.
Yeah, so sometimes moving away is really helpful. So I even have to do that in my classroom sometimes. My move isn't very big, but this computer has like all my email and the instant messages from other teachers and everything like that. So here's what I actually do. I actually go like this and I turn away from the computer and I work at this part of my desk on my laptop because I don't have my email and my instant messenger and all that stuff open. So I move away from where my distractions are located. So that's a great strategy. Okay. Something else. Ooh, somebody named B108 wants to share. I don't know who it is because your name is B108. I don't think that's what your mama named you. B108, I just asked you to unmute. Who are you?
Anton.
Oh, rename yourself. All right. What's your strategy, bub?
When I wasn't on Zoom, my brother was too busy playing on his game, and he didn't have no headphones on, so I put on my headphones and see if that worked, and it did.
Nice. So not even just moving away, but actually helping your brain to be able to focus by changing the things that it hears. Yeah, sounds can be distractions as well. Thank you for sharing, Anton. All right. This week, we have been focusing on being assertive. There were parts in this text where RJ had to be very assertive in asking for help. He also needed to be assertive in asking to move away, like many of you had shared as a strategy. As we move forward throughout this week, I'd like you to continue practicing being assertive, and I'd also like for you to be thinking actively about how do I stay focused even when my teacher is not on Zoom with me, okay? Remember, we have assignments to be working on the whole time. Just because you finish your Seesaw assignment does not mean that you have no more schoolwork, okay? You still have assignments that we're completing on different programs, and we need to work on staying focused on them, okay? All right,